In the Power Foods lifestyle, you may be wondering if adding oil to your salad or your stir fries or your scrambles counts as a fat, or here at Power Foods Lifestyle, we classify that as an F, which is 8 to 12 grams of fat. So let's do a little bit of math and talk about a few different situations where we would count it versus not count it. So if we are in a tier 1 of the Power Foods lifestyle, which I'll link you up with a video below if you have not yet seen my tier videos, that's a very, very important aspect of your training and knowledge. So you'll watch those next. Tier 1, you're not going to worry about it. Up to a tablespoon. I mean, really, in tier 1, we're not even measuring portions. You're working to eat healthier foods and be mindful and aware. That's about it. Tier 2 of the Power Foods lifestyle, that's where we start to pair our P's and our V's and our C's, our P's, our V's, and our F's. We bring in indulgence strategies, etc. And so you might be aware of this. I would say if you are in a tier 2 and you're being mindful and aware, but you're not dialing in every little gram of everything, then it would be best to keep your added oils to less than 2 teaspoons per meal. Once you start getting over 2 teaspoons, so let's look at the fat grams in it. 2 teaspoons is going to give you 9 grams of fat, which is a peak range. So any meal you are adding 2 teaspoons of oil to, doesn't matter what type of oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, flaxseed oil, walnut oil, basil oil, it's basically all going to come to about the same amount of fat. Same thing with grass-fed butter, all in the same category. So if you are adding a peak range of fat to an already PVF meal or PVCF meal, yes, that would be adding another F, which is approximately 80 to 100 extra calories. But in a tier 2, we're not worrying about those minute details because generally speaking, we will see a great deal of results, not only in how your brain functions and your digestion and how you feel and your energy, but I've seen so many people get incredible body composition shifts in just a tier 2. We move into a tier 3 when we're really dialing in, we're creating aesthetics, we have less than 15 pounds to lose, where we want to see more muscle definition, we want to get those cuts, that 6-pack. And it's not to say that people who have maybe 20 plus, 50 plus, 100 pounds plus to lose shouldn't be in a tier 3. Tier 3 is just intense. And so my question to you as a strategist and someone who helps you think critically is, can you sustain a tier 3 approach for the long term? And maybe it's that you go in a tier 3 for 8 weeks and you go tier 2 for 4 weeks and then tier 3 for 8 weeks and then tier 2 for 4 weeks or whatever. Like the thing is, we want to define how long you are in a different approach of intensity so you don't burn out. So tier 3, yes, we would count it above 1 teaspoon, 1 teaspoon being 4.5 grams of fat. So if it's a half peak range or less, a peak range being 8 to 12, then I'm okay if it's negligible, okay? And I won't count that. If you're tracking macros in MyFitnessPal or something, yeah, you're going to track that. But if you're just following methodology of Power Foods Lifestyle mentally, which that's what really Power Foods Lifestyle is key for doing, is helping us be aware of total macronutrient intake without ever plugging things in. Once you are immersed in the lifestyle for 6 to 12 months and you really started to get the hang of this and how all the numbers add up, it's pretty cool. So just hang in there, you'll get there. So 1 teaspoon, yeah, negligible. However, once you're in a tier 3 and you really want some results, especially if you are like in that last 10 pounds of body fat, I would highly recommend, if you already have a PVC or PVF meal in real food and not just in like added oils, then I would go with a very light spray of either avocado, coconut, or avocado oil based cooking spray. Remember, we should not be using vegetable oil spray. If you have not yet heard my podcast on cooking oils, that would be a great one to listen to as the follow-up of this video. And so light, because even that adds up. You have to really, there is no freebies when you put chemicals in your body. Please be mindful of that. And so there are little alternatives, a little hack you can do if you're like, okay, I need all of this edible food for my macronutrients, but gosh, like, I can't cook this. Like, I love stir fries, right? So I'm like, I can't cook this in a pan. It's going to stick and be nasty and be all black and smoky. So one of the things you can do to almost anything is just add a teeny little bit of water. First, spray the pan light and then just add a small amount of water to the pan if it's a stir fry, and make sure you use your lid and do more of a steam / saute. And that way it's not gonna stick to the bottom of the pan, it's not gonna really ruin it, and you'll be pleasantly surprised at how delicious your food is, especially if you are using a cruciferous vegetable. Like I chop up Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower a lot, and so those take a little bit longer to cook. And I don't particularly like eating them raw or crunchy like. It's more like I like that soft steam, where the color changes to that beautiful green. Yeah, that's where we like those. And so when you do the steam / saute, we'll now call it sloshé. Sloshé. Slaute. That would be a slaute. Then just try it out. You'll be amazed at how much better that is. So what heat would you cook that on? I'd go medium when you're starting out, and then once you put the lid on, medium low, reduce it. Just let it sit there for 8, 10, 12 minutes or so. Just watch it. Every meal you cook will probably be a little bit different. But the key to the Power Foods lifestyle is experimentation. So I hope this helps you make the best decision about whether or not you should be adding oils or using a cooking spray in your Power Foods lifestyle. Thank you so much for watching. Here at Body Buddies and the Power Foods Lifestyle, my goal is to empower you with a completely new way of approaching your nutrition, your fitness, and your mindset. Come check out my starter kit over at powerfoodslifestyle.com, where I'm going to give you my book, the audio version of my book, I personally read it, 3 of my recipe books, 6 starter sample meal plans, and the Power Foods list. This is a great place to get started into strategic eating. Also, be sure to check out the Body Buddies podcast and subscribe. There I will help you bridge the gap between the science of optimality in your nutrition and fitness and the reality of your day-to-day life, emotion, psychology, and being a busy person. So I invite you to come on this learning journey with me. Let me empower you and give you the tactics, the strategy, and the psychology to be able to make some lasting, sustainable shifts in your life, in your body, and the way you feel about yourself.